up, y'all? This is Drunk in the Sun with Joe and Tom. Guess what?
We're going to get drunk and talk about everything under the sun.
Show about anything under the sun.
We didn't do that. All right, let's do it.
This episode is fire. Check us out every week on YouTube,
Instagram,
Facebook,
and Spotify.
Oh, shit! Coming at you every week.
First of all, this is for entertainment. We're not educational.
Yeah.
We're not.
If you're coming to get your education from us, you are clearly misguided.
Exactly.
But check us out. We're the show about anything and everything under the sun. Check us out.
I'll show up. Like, what are you doing in there? He's like, I swear to God.
Swear to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think that's legit.
I don't think it's legit either. Hey, what up, y'all, man? This is Drunk in the Sun with John. I said John? With John? No, it's Tom. Tom and Joe. God damn, how drunk am I? Hey, guys. What's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just drinking. Screaming, I deserve this. What did he deserve? Fuck.
Like and subscribe so you get the notifications when we do drop something. Probably pretty fucking lame. But anyways, check it out. Drunk Under the Sun, a podcast about anything and everything under the sun. I mean,
You got show ideas? You don't.
well, I was gonna ask, you want to go ahead and talk about Kenobi? The whole series?
Yeah. Let's talk some Kenobi.
Because surprisingly enough, I actually liked this one.
Spoiler alert. Before we get started, this is about to be a D.U.T.S review of Kenobi, the series.
Yeah, the whole
We know
series.
the series is over. We know a lot of people do reviews each episode. We almost did that. This time, fuck it. We're doing it a whole season.
The whole season.
Talking about the first season of Obi Wan Kenobi because I'm sure they're going to make a second one. And you know what? I'm fine with that. So, start off the top. You liked it?
I did like it. For once, in the Disney thing, I liked Mando. I like Mandalorian, don't get me wrong. I did not like Book of Boba Fett, but I really, really enjoyed Kenobi. It was fucking amazing. I was very impressed. And I really liked, it was just, I think part of the reason I enjoyed it is because it's all the people that have already been in those roles, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of keeping the same cast. And that's probably why I liked it so much.
That was a dream of ours when we were kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I remember us all the time, us and our crowd of friends always going like, why the fuck don't
Like
the
in
same
Batman
character?
and
Yeah,
shit
why is
like that?
Why is this not my this blah blah blah?
Yeah.
And now they're doing that. Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's not the only reason why I love Kenobi.
It's not the only reason why. I think it just helped.
But it helped me get the ball rolling because number one, I was like,
who doesn't want to see those guys?
yeah, who doesn't want to see Ewan McGregor in anything?
Yeah.
Because now there's a few times I'm like, come on, Ewan. But as Kenobi, I'm down for that, especially if it ties all the other movies together.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is so dope. I fucking loved Kenobi from the start. I loved it to the end. There were some things throughout that I had problems with, and at the ending, there were some things I had some problem with. But I'll start off with episode 1, bro. I fucking thought found.
Tom knows all these episodes like by heart. I've only seen them all once, so I'm gonna heavily rely on what he's saying here.
Yeah, because as a whole series, I don't know how many times I watched it because the first episode alone I've watched it probably 5 or 6 times. Every episode past that, so episode 2 through 6, I've watched no less than 3 times. Some of them more.
Yeah, depending.
I fucking loved it. So the first episode off the rip, I love the fact that Obi-Wan he's broken. He's forceless.
Yeah.
He's trying to stay the fuck away out of the Empire. Like, I thought that was so. He was in exile.
Yeah.
And he was trying to help the light side of the Force advance with Luke, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was just so dope because, like, you would never, if you watch him go to work and do everything, never peg him as a Jedi.
I never expected them to pull that he wouldn't have his powers initially, or wouldn't have, like, his Jedi Force. Like, I thought he would still be like a Jedi. I didn't expect them to be like, nope, he really can't do shit now because he shut himself off. I didn't expect that.
See, I love that. And
I thought it was cool.
And
I
you
liked
see
it.
that a lot, because in the second episode is when he uses his Force powers to save Leia.
Yeah.
And the first episode, that right there, I thought the entire show was going to be on Tatooine again. I thought, oh, here we go. We're going to be on Tatooine again. Okay, whatever. Maybe Obi-Wan's going to fight Darth Maul at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe because the crime bosses on... Because I expected it to be on Tatooine with the crime bosses with the huts.
Yeah.
And, like, him getting involved with, like helping people out from criminals
Kinda
and
like
shit like that.
A superhero.
It started off as him just, fuck it, I gotta be low-key as fuck, so I gotta make sure nobody knows I'm a Jedi. I can't do anything, and I mean anything, to let them know I'm a Jedi.
And that right there, I'm 100% in agreement with. When I heard there was an Obi Wan series, I thought that too. He's gonna be there. He's gonna be doing Jedi shit the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was surprising that he wasn't.
Now, in the first episode, there was a part where he does go, oh, Master Qui-Gon, like he does. So I think he uses the Force for a brief moment there, but he doesn't. But he has not been practicing it. Like,
no, yeah,
he's not a
like
Jedi. He's not a Jedi no more. He's out of the Order.
Yeah.
So now he's just like, I'm done karate chopping shit. I'm not doing anything no more. And he can't. And a lot of people go, why doesn't he use the Force? Well, you would get stronger by practicing with the Force,
but
and that's how it becomes. But it alerts the Emperor to where the fuck you're at, because the Emperor is always meditating.
Exactly.
And the dark side is everywhere. The tendrils of the dark side, where to find you, Kenobi. So he didn't want to fucking set him off.
Exactly. Because it'd be like a beacon on radar, but like, oh fuck, there he's over there.
That's how that one Jedi got tracked with the Inquisitors on the first episode.
Yeah.
Was they tracked him because he was doing Jedi shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I found that so lovable too, to where the Inquisitors in that episode are like, Jedi do the same fucking shit. They think they're so special. We're here to cut them down. Right? I was like, that is fucking funny as shit.
Those guys were initially like one of my like, I don't like this, because I thought they looked dumb to me. I
loved the way the one dude looked. The guy, the white, bald-headed guy with the fucking wrinkles. He was the leader at first. He was the Grand
I still
Inquisitor.
thought he looked kind of goofy. I thought all three of them looked kind of goofy.
And like when he walked, he just walked and he just looked around. It's like you could just, I don't know. I loved the way he was. And then but what was fucked up? Like I think even close to that scene or whatever, a little bit after they hang the one Jedi and kill him, they found out he begged Obi-Wan. He's like, no, it's Obi-Wan. You're here. You're gonna save us. He's like, you idiot. Why would you be here? He's like, did anybody follow you? You know, that's basically what Obi was doing, right? He's like, you moron! Why would you do this? So then he gives him a lecture of don't be a Jedi. The Jedi are no more. Stop being it. You're a fucking idiot. Just bury your fucking lightsaber. Just bury it. Because he buried his. And he got rid of it. And
what is that about, though? Do you know what that's about?
I think one is separating yourself from being a Jedi. Because a lightsaber is the only weapon a Jedi uses. That's all they've ever been known for.
But don't their Force powers control it in a way?
In a way.
Okay.
But, so they're going to be able to find it. I mean, when you ignite a kyber crystal, you use the Force. So it's part of your Force essence.
Yeah, okay.
And that's why, like, I think a lot of lightsaber, but I don't think all that's true because I think it's true that you put your light, because in the past there's been extended universe things where someone couldn't ignite a lightsaber because they weren't the one who created it. Okay. Whereas if you watch, like, then how did Luke, light up Darth Vader's lightsaber?
Because in the old ones, you obviously see they have buttons. Right. In the old movies.
Right, and they do. And they do even, and you see it in the prequels.
Yeah.
But like, to me, I just think anybody should be able to hold a lightsaber and light it up. It's just a sword. Yeah. Now, if you cut your hand off in the process, well, you're an idiot, right? So, but that first episode of Kenobi was so dope, and I did not see. I couldn't believe they killed the Grand Inquisitor off. I'm like, no, motherfuckers! And then what I really didn't see was him getting a beacon from Bail Organa saying, "Hey, I need you to fucking save my kid, dude."
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
And it was Leia, and I was like, what? Now, here's the thing I would say about this Leia kid, because I thought the actress, as a little kid, she was actually pretty bad as Leia. Like, I just thought she was not very... She was a good actress, right? Mm-hmm. But there was something about her that I loved. And I was like, give me more of this kid. I was like, this kid's awesome. Even though she's a shitty actress. There was something about her that I fucking loved throughout the entire series. Throughout the entire series. So, is there any more you want to add on this first episode?
I really can't remember it. I just remember him being hiding. Him being like, wasn't he like some kind of fish butcher? And
Pretty
like,
much.
He would like
He was
take
cutting
them-
like crate dragons, I think.
Yeah, and he'd take some home for himself.
Yeah, and then his
shit.
thing that he rode.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all I remember. I've only seen these all once, so
And
you
the
might
second
triple my
episode,
memory.
is when we finally see because when we see in the second episode, you see him. Well, I think at the beginning of the second episode or at the end of the first one or two, he digs out his lightsaber.
You're right.
And what you see is tight. What I thought was dope was you have fucking his lightsaber and Anakin's lightsaber.
Yeah,
It's dope, right? And then I think,
noticed there was two, but when it comes to me, I'm not so into it to where I'm like, oh yeah, that's Anakin's. I just saw those two lightsabers, but I didn't think anything of it
Anakin's.
at the same time.
because he gives it to Luke in New Hope, and he
Okay.
took it from Anakin in Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
So he had it. So he goes, and then you see him with his hood up,
Mhm.
with the lightsaber on. You're like, oh shit, this motherfucker's back to being a Jedi, but he's really not.
Yeah, because
He's not. He has not been practicing the Force. So he tells Bail Organa this. Like, I fucking love that. And the second episode, I believe, is when we first see Darth Vader.
It is. Number 3 is. Because I remember
Is it
you
3?
said a bit. Yeah, 3.
Oh,
I don't know
2.
if you see first, not
Okay.
first see him, but when you see him with doing shit. Like, I think he might show up
Well,
and
no,
talk.
because I think he talks in episode 2. Because I think they find that's when in episode 3 when he shows up that's where he knows where Obi-Wan's at.
Yes.
Because Reva tells him, and he tells Reva, I think, in episode either 2 or the beginning of 3,
Yeah.
where you will be the new Grand Inquisitor if you bring me Obi Wan Kenobi. Tell me what he's at.
Yeah.
You know, so fucking and that's when you see him fucking up. Obi's like, he lights his lightsaber, but he's gone. He's leaving, and I loved it because he was like, and then that's when, that's right, because he met. It was in episode 2 is when he met the chick who was the fucking the girl, the lady who was the military inside the Empire. She was a officer in the Empire. She
Yeah.
shoots this clone troop.
Oh, yeah,
troopers, and that's how they become together. In part 3, fucking
That's when Vader shows up.
that's when Vader shows up
shit.
and she saves Obi-Wan because he tells because they're going to go meet the rebel.
Yeah, and they're trying to flee.
to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And
That's
he's
when
like
he
he's
fucks
like
that
Leia
ship up.
go. Yeah, he's like Leia
Yeah.
go, and fucking he's a fucking ship up. Yeah, he goes Leia go with her and she'll take it to so and so.
Yeah.
And she leaves him. She leaves her. She's like, just go. You'll be all right. That's the one thing I thought was kind of fucked up because she was supposed to. She told Obi-Wan, it's like, don't worry, I'll get her where she got to be.
Yeah.
And then she's halfway there. She's like, you know what, guy, I got to go save Obi-Wan. You go with. You just go.
Yeah.
He's there.
Yeah.
You don't even know him, but he's there. Right? And you're like, what? Like, no, follow her, you
Yeah.
fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Right? And then go back for him.
Yeah.
But then they split. Because at the end, that's when Reva captures her.
Yeah.
That's the end of that episode.
Yeah.
But that when they show Vader, that's the episode where they're in the town and Vader's walking. He's just choke forcing people
Yeah.
and throwing them around
Yeah.
and doing whatever the fuck he wants to do.
I like
It's like,
seeing
oh my
a lot
God.
of that. I mean, we caught a glimpse of it in Rogue One, but seeing actual Vader do badass shit, I really enjoyed in this series.
But I also enjoy him being a bad guy because I don't want him because we all see that he redeems himself, but he needs to be. And I've heard this spoken of him a few other times, but he needs to be like the ultimate bad guy. Like you do not.
Yeah,
like,
he
you
needs to be a
think
real
he's
piece
cool
of
looking,
shit.
but you don't want him to win.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
want him to win.
He needs to be a real piece of shit
Right.
up until he redeems himself.
Redeems himself, right?
Yeah.
And fucking in that scene, he's just like, "You're dead. Oh, you dead. You dead. Shut up, you. You're dead." And he's just choking people, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like fuck. I'm like, but Vader's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
And then when he fights Obi-Wan, I thought it was so dope. Obi-Wan has nothing against him.
Yeah.
Nothing. But when this first came out, there was
I
somebody.
missed a lot of episode 3 when they fought. I was doing some shit, so I
Oh.
missed a little.
Well,
bit.
there was just a few of the fighting, and Obi-Wan splits, and then
Uh-huh.
they fight again, I think. And
they
that's
do
when,
fight again.
and-
Yeah.
and then- well, not to the
Oh,
end.
yeah.
But I'm talking about in that episode. In that
Yeah.
episode, they eventually clash swords because Vader's using one hand. He's
Yeah.
like, "Brown,"
And he does that towards
brown.
the end, and then he switches it up because he has to go to 2.
Yeah, but that's when Obi-Wan's good.
Exactly.
But when he's not, he's like, "Brown, brown." He's fucking Obi-Wan up,
Yeah.
and he's like, "My master, you will die." He's like, and he fucking. That's when he captures him in force, and he's like, "Ah."
Yeah.
And then he lights the ground on fire. He's like, "You feel what I felt when you left me to die." And he fucking like getting burned and dragged through the flames. I'm like, holy shit! Like, that is a shit. But And then fucking but what was cool was it almost was like a trigger point because after that one is when Obi goes in the back to tank and he starts becoming one with the Force again.
Yeah.
And fucking when he goes saves Leia, oh that episode's the shit. I think that's gotta be the fourth one maybe. Because the fifth one they escape.
Yeah. And then the sixth one's when they have the final battle.
He has the final battle.
Shit, that was intense. Like, I don't remember.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Hold on. Before we get to the sixth battle.
Oh, yeah, for real. For real. Go ahead.
In the beginning of the show, in which I'm sure everybody thought the same way, when you see the younglings and then you see Reva,
shit.
I'm like, Reva is going to be one of these younglings.
Yeah.
Anakin turned her to the dark side.
Yeah, and they keep having flashbacks.
Right. And I'm like, and she got turned to the dark side, right? I'm like, holy shit, this is wild.
Yeah.
But what threw me off was by the time you get to the fourth or fifth episode, when she meets Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And she tells him behind closed doors, she's like, he stabbed me in the gut. So he was like, hey guy,
Yep.
and stabs her, but she survived.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, that's twisted. Wow, you can survive a lightsaber thrust that way, I guess. Well, fuck it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And then, spoilers, I don't give a fuck. Anyways,
yeah.
What gets me with this, and this was my problem with the sixth episode, was because in the fifth episode, Darth Vader stabs her again.
Again, yes.
And she survives. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Why does Qui-Gon, if he gets stabbed, he dies?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but Reva dies twice.
Yeah.
But she doesn't die.
No.
Just stabbed her twice.
That's a good point. Because that's all that happens to Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
It's just that. He's run through.
Unless Darth Maul did something we didn't see. Maybe he was like, meow, and like cut more up. Like, meow. And he's like, he knows better. Like Darth Maul is like, meow. I've done this before, it doesn't work. Meow. There we go. Meow.
Just a little tweak there.
A little tweak there. They don't know about this. Meow. So he thinks that's the one thing. He's like, if and also if you watch Revenge of the Sith, I think Kit Fisto gets gunned down like that by the Emperor. Because when the Emperor takes on Mace Windu, Kit Fisto, and the other two Jedi, I don't remember the other two names, but he's like, wow! He does that, so one of them are like, rah! He's like, So it only matters certain times. But
maybe he tweaked it. He taught Darth Maul, so
maybe. I know, Darth Maul's like, wow!
My master taught me.
The master. Yeah, he's like, wow! Wow! The Jedi doesn't do this. Meow. Mace Windu's like, oh my god, that was egregious. Mace Windu's like, you just need to stab him. Why is he doing the up thing? It's like, no.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. That's what
But
it
you're
is.
right.
But I'm right.
But you're right, because she was literally the first person I ever knew that survived a thrust of a lightsaber.
And
she
then,
was a child.
And then what I also thought was kind of stupid with her, like, to me, I'd rather have seen them be Anakin's like, you know what, guys? You want to survive right now? Well, yeah, Master Skywalker, we're going to live. Come with me.
Yeah.
Be the dark side.
That makes sense.
And be like, dark side, I heard, wow! You heard nothing. You guys want to be with the dark side? But yeah. Right? Fuck yeah, we do. I'm kidding. So they go with him. I would have rather that because, and then her big thing was in that, I think episode 4 or 5, where she was like, I just want to kill Anakin Skywalker. I want to kill Darth. I'm like,
she just
you were around him like 7 times at this point in time. She was in a conference call with him. You're in a conference call. And then you were in a meeting with all the heads. You were in the meeting. You could have been like, if that's all I want to do. She thrusted in Anakin. She thrusted Darth Vader. She's like, you should have upticked. Wow. He's like, what? Ah! She got me. Bitch understood where it was at. And then somebody else stabs her back like, wow. She's like, you didn't uptick. Fool. I'm going to survive.
I got this. I've done it twice.
Right. But, and then when it went with Reva, like, that was the problems I had with Reva. And I get that they're trying to do something different. I get that.
Yeah.
I get it. I think it just, that part could have been a little better. But I love that they did bring back the guy I loved in the first one. You know, and I think it was like episode 5. is when he finally came back. Because that's when she got stabbed again.
Yeah.
And he didn't uptick. So she survived.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't do that. So she survived. And that guy was like, oh, but I'm back, bitch, because you didn't uptick. Because he got stabbed in the gut, too.
Yeah.
If you recall, in episode 1, she was like, brow. It's like, you should have went, how. And then he's like, I'm back, bitch. And she's dying. She's like, oh,
Fuck!
I didn't uptick. Fuck. Right?
Yeah.
So he's back.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, he's back. Awesome. But what cracked me up was, especially in, I think it was, well, the 6th episode, was when they're following the ship, right? They're following it. Obi-Wan goes, and Vader's like, follow him! And the one guy's like,
Yeah.
is that really necessary? The enemy, we need them.
Yeah.
He's like, and then he turns around at him, and you know Vader's just like, bitch! I said follow him! And then the guy's probably like, ah, shit. He choked out like 4 people today.
Yep.
Am I 5th?
Yeah.
Are you sure, Lord Vader? I said follow him. Following course, sir. Fuck. And the fucking Admiral guy gets it first.
Yeah.
That's who you hear it from. The Admiral guy's like, yes, sir. He's like, oh, shit. Vader said follow him. He's like, but the guy who's the Inquisitor, are you insane? That's Vader. Don't question him.
Yeah.
Like, one, that guy has some balls.
Yeah.
Because he's like, sir, I just think that if you...
The whole entire leader of the whole thing.
Yeah, over one guy, I think he's somewhere. You're going to find him again.
He's got the Force, right?
Oh, I said follow him! And then that was one of my things that I laughed at. Like, I loved it that he did that. I had no problem with that scene, right?
Yeah.
But I just found it funny.
Yeah.
Because if I was like dubbing it over,
Yeah.
that's what I'd be like, bitch! Like I said, follow him.
Yeah.
Like, you know who I am. I do. You're Lord Vader. You might kill me. But the
This is kind of
Emperor...
more important.
The Emperor might kill me too.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, that cracked me up.
Yeah, that is a good point where he talks back. That's surprising.
Yeah, I was like,
That's
oh,
funny,
shit.
though. That is
But
funny.
I liked it. I liked that scene. I was like, that's pretty cool. And fucking, I mean, episode 6, the biggest thing I have there... Well, before we get there...
Yeah.
So, with Leia, you know, through the whole thing, I really enjoyed, like... I thought it was cool. A lot of people probably... I don't know if a lot of people have...
It was Leia heavy.
I haven't watched the internet about...
You haven't watched
reviews.
it.
Yeah, I haven't watched the internet about reviews
Yeah.
of Obi-Wan because
Yeah.
I got a feeling a lot of people are going to be like, why is Leia such a fucking little brat? Why is Leia fucking... And I'm like, no, she's headstrong in that series. And you want her to be headstrong as a kid
Yeah.
so to show that, hey, she ain't afraid
Yeah.
when the Empire finally... Because you got to think, when in that series, the Empire is there, but they haven't fully taken over.
Yes.
Because they don't fully take over into New Hope
Yeah.
when they walk into the chamber, they walk in that
she
meeting.
reaches out to Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
The only hope.
That's when the Empire's at full potential because that's when they dissolve the Republic. I mean the Senate. There's like the Senate is gone. The Emperor has full control of everything.
Yeah.
You know, shit. That's not good.
But I liked in that one. Well, that was the last one though. We won't skip there yet.
But I loved. Again, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Real quick.
I don't want to skip.
I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish my rant about Leia because I was so surprised that they said, "Hey, it's Obi-Wan and Leia show, not Obi-Wan and Luke."
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm like, aw.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But
I guess I didn't
loved
catch that.
it. I fucking loved it.
I
man.
actually didn't catch that until you started talking about it. That it is very Leia heavy.
Yeah.
You don't see Luke hardly at all.
Not until the end.
Yeah, not until the end.
And that's it. And at that point, I'm like, you don't need Luke to see Luke at that point.
Yeah.
Because
You could
I have another qualm.
series.
I'm gonna let you finish your thought because I have another qualm once we get to episode 6 about the Luke and Leia thing.
Well, I'm just saying that, like, in my opinion, honestly, when I'm looking at this series, I'm a little concerned that there's not going to be a second one. I think it's done.
I don't know.
I think that's it.
I don't know.
Because each episode actually could have been a whole series.
Oh,
a
yeah.
whole fucking season.
Oh, yeah.
It was very Game of Thrones 9. You know, each
Well,
episode was
I mean,
could have been
it could have been, but I always say it's Game of Thrones 9 because in the end, I think they delivered better than Game of Thrones.
Well, yeah, it was excellent. It was excellent. I'm just saying, each
But no,
episode
you're right.
could have been a season
You're right.
in its own.
You're absolutely right. 100%. And Yeah, that would be dope. And I hope they do. I hope they have another one. Like, I hope they have another one where it's Luke-centered this time.
Well, that would be nice, because I didn't even realize until you started talking. I was like, yeah, Luke's like in 5 minutes, ain't he?
It really is. So, but I loved all that shit, and I loved how Leia had the droid, and I loved how they used the droid to spy on them, to follow them. Like, that was dope. And, like, the droid was another, like, an R... Like, to me, the droid came across like an R2. Like, like, say what you will about the sequels, and I said a lot about the sequels, episodes 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
But I loved BB-88. I don't give a fuck. I think that's an adorable fucking droid.
I think it's part of the charm of Star Wars. That's what,
one of the things.
The robots. The robots. Because they were, and it was very R2 unit.
It reminded me of R2.
Exactly.
Like a pal. He's like, hey, he's here. Hey guys.
He's a little robot buddy. He's going to be on your adventure.
Yeah, and then they turn him to the dark side, and you're like, oh no! What'd they do to the droid? Yeah. Like, that's, like, once they realize, she's like, don't worry, Lord Vader. Like, when Reva tells Lord Vader, that she has a tracking device, then it goes back to Leia and the droid eyes light up different. You're like, oh, shit! Like, they just destroyed her! No!
Yeah.
You know, and but you have emotion for that droid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
but
what
you
I'm
have
saying.
an emotion for all of them.
Right.
R2, that one.
You do. Like if you saw R2 get fucked up, you're like, no, R2!
Yeah.
Fuck!
Who cares about C-3PO?
Yeah, that guy. He deserves getting fucked up. But R2, no! Fucking, it was lovable droid. And I love that about it.
Always sneak that in. It's nice. Anyways, continue.
So, and then we go, the torture scene with Leia was, like, the whole time they had Leia as a, like, trying to interrogate her and shit, I felt like,
like you shouldn't be watching it? Did it make you uncomfortable?
Maybe uncomfortable, but maybe, like, also at the same time, like, why is nobody saving this fucking kid? I'm like, why is nobody in here? You know, but at the same time, you have to think that the Empire has full control. Yeah. Like, there's nothing there's nothing you can do. Well, at that point, I guess they're not full control, but they have control. Like, they took her to a base where nobody knows about.
Yeah, and everybody there is on board.
Yeah, everyone, like, they're like, yeah, we're here forever, so whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck this kid, right?
Yeah.
and that's the same episode where Obi-Wan finally starts becoming his old self. And you can see it progress each time he uses his saber. Yeah. He becomes more and more. And he uses the Force a lot. And he uses the Force to block. I was like, oh my God, he's back! Oh my shit, yeah! I was like, Obi-Wan's back, baby!
Yeah.
And then fucking, it was dope. Like, that episode was dope when he saved Leia.
Yeah.
And that's when he was fighting. That's when he was like, you could see him, like, there's times you would see you and, like, Obi-Wan would be like, bing! And, like, he would lift his whole self like he was hitting a racket. Because he was deflecting the lasers back to the stormtroopers. I was like, that is dope! Because he'd be like, bing, bing, bink! Bing, bing, bing! You know, I was like, oh, that is so cool. I was loving it, man.
It was very well done.
Very. And then fucking once they get Leia, fucking, I felt a lot of the shit with, like, Ice Cube's Jr.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that was him.
Well, because, like, at first, like, when they first introduced him, he's like, no, man, fuck you, we ain't taking nobody, fuck this, and Obi-Wan, like, barely gives him a speech. Like, he gives him, like, a sort of a pep talk. He's like, and like 5 seconds after, he was like, fuck this. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go. Let's roll. I was like, really? That's kind of forced.
Yeah.
But I get it. You know, I didn't make it. They got the pleasure of making it.
I didn't write shit.
Right. Nothing like that. I've made shit, but not like that. Fucking, most people call what I made the shit. It's shit. But whatever. But I loved it. And then we get to fucking episode, like, at the end of episode 5, my opinion, last time you should ever see Reva was when she was down on the ground suffering.
Yeah.
And then leave her. I think she should have been one of those questions, like, did she die? Did she survive?
Because they could have brought it into another season.
Season or different series. You could bring her into Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Imagine that. That's like fucking 50 years later than when that
They'd have
place.
to fucking up her face, probably.
They could do prosthetics with that one.
Yeah.
And that would be even better.
Yeah.
Because when we forgot to do this. When they had young Anakin and young Obi-Wan, that had to be, I did not care for the de-aging. It seemed
I thought he looked like he was the same age.
He looked old to me.
He did look old. I thought he looked like he actually does.
Like he does now.
Yeah.
He's 40.
Yeah.
He's only 40 years old. So
I was like, shit, he looks old. It didn't do anything to his face?
old, dude. Yeah, that's what I was like. I was like, and like when you watch the other de-agings,
yeah.
like Tarkin and fucking Leia.
Oh, dude, Tarkin. Jesus Christ. When they did Tarkin, I thought it was the guy. I thought it was him. I was like, he's still that old.
Still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still that old. He's still that old. But he looked legit.
I thought it was him.
Right. They did not do very good with Anakin.
I thought he looked old too.
The de-agent of Luke we saw on a fucking Mandalorian he looked legit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did they not do Anakin? Same with Obi. Like they de-aged Obi too. And they just did not look good.
I was just like, so they shot this from the past, but they look like today?
Yeah. that's what I was like. Oh, that was a big hang up.
Maybe they didn't de-age him. Do you think they didn't?
I don't
think
know.
they could have.
I don't know. I don't know though. I don't know.
But why wouldn't they?
But it seemed like there was parts around like it looked smoother than normal. You know what I mean? Like, but
I can see that.
But it just he still looked. Yeah, you saw that the crease there,
yeah.
crease under the eyes. You had a few creases at the eyebrows. Yeah. I was like, shit. I was like, they did not do a very good job with that. But other than that, I had no problem with the.
Yeah, that's pretty picky. Though.
That was only.
That's real. Picky.
Yeah, but I love that scene. That scene was. I was like, okay, this is.
I like the flashbacks because it shows. It was like a mirror image because that's how Obi knew what Vader would do.
Right.
He's like, he's just fucked up. He's gonna follow me. So let's go.
Right.
So.
Well, it was like you felt like Vader couldn't let go.
Yeah.
And he couldn't. And then what it was dope, like, all right, now we jump to episode 6. I don't think the only time they should have had Luke in episode 6 was the very end.
Yeah, when they were like, hey, you want to meet him?
You want to meet him?
Basically, that's all they needed.
That's all you needed. You didn't need the whole Reva chasing shit.
Yeah.
I thought that was dumb.
That was kind of forced. And I was like, really? Because...
I didn't like that.
Because you see that in episode 5 where he realizes, oh shit,
yeah, she's going after
Luke.
See,
exists.
but the thing was, I thought when she was looking at that thing, I thought she was knowing where they were taking Leia. So I was like, oh shit, she's going to follow them. She's going to follow Leia and Obi-Wan. And what got me with episode 6 was he basically was like, all right, Leia, gotta go. You're going to be cool, but I got to split.
He was. And he's all like, and it makes you worry because he's doing all these promises like, I'll be back and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but
you're like, no, you won't.
No, you won't. It's like, fuck! You know? But then we get the great battle scenes with Vader. God. And
that shit
Obi-Wan.
Was intense.
I loved it. Every bit of it. And people, you know what kills me?
Like
you know what kills me? Because a lot of people are like, oh, they use a lot of rocks. They're all Disney does is rocks. But you know what, dude? Like, a lot of people have been comparing to, like, to Rey, like, when she was training and shit.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no. That type of shit has been with Star Wars since the beginning.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back. Luke was levitating rocks.
Yeah.
He was doing it upside down, even. Yeah. With Yoda on a foot. You know what I mean? So I was like, that's just part of Star Wars. Fucking,
And isn't that, like, where did they fight? Like,
I don't know.
Was it the world where he got fucked up initially? Okay, it wasn't. Because that's
it wasn't Mustafar. It wasn't Mustafar. I don't know where it was, honestly.
It was fucked up, but Obi-Wan takes him there.
It was pretty dope because it was dark setting, and fucking Obi-Wan is not like they were their first confrontation.
No. But
and that's when Anakin, I loved it. He was at one point, Anakin's like, his fingers are, he's like, come on, motherfucker.
Because
I got you.
You see it because, like, at the beginning, just
he
like
is like having one.
Yeah. At the beginning, it's like that, and then he switches it up to 2 because he has to.
He had to. Now, if you pay attention to that movie, also watch, because I thought I saw glimpses, but there was parts of their fight scene in that episode that they did in Revenge of the Sith when they were in the fight scene, like
they probably did.
Like they had, there was one part I was like, oh my god, that's just like it. Like it looked like it to me.
I bet they did. I bet they did because they do that a lot. Like anymore, a lot of things do that.
With like parallels,
parallels.
Because it's like you still know those moves.
Yeah,
you would in real life. You would use that way.
Yeah,
you know,
and it could be the same thing.
Could be.
Yeah. I like when they do that though. I don't care. Like if you do that and it's like, oh, it's like
I loved it. No, I loved that.
In the past. It's like, oh shit.
It's like, oh shit, they did the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Especially because this is a TV series and that was a movie, right? Fucking.
But that's what all these series have been like. when you watch it, it's like
dude, they're movies.
They're movies.
They're movies.
Yeah.
Each episode's a movie.
And it's a whole long 6-hour movie.
Yeah.
Because imagine that. If Obi-Wan had came out as just a movie, that would have been a bad as fuck movie. But
they would have done it in parts.
Yeah.
They would have done part 1, part 2, part 3.
Yep.
2 hours long.
Yep.
That's how they would have done it.
Yep.
And that's the only way, because...
And they would have still, like, if they did that exact series, it would have still made money.
I mean, you could do 2 parts, but why would you not, instead of do 2, do 3? You're going to make more money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you could do 2 parts, because you got to think, Lord of the Rings, each one of those, when they came out in theaters, were 3 hours fucking long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dances with Wolves was 2.5, 3 hours long. Prior to the director's cut.
Yeah.
The director's cut's like 5 hours long.
Yeah.
It's insane. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, it could have very well been. That's how well it was done. It very well could have been a movie. Because
No, it could have, yeah, easily.
It was
and it blew my mind. And the way Vader was moving, like he wasn't like stiff.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh my God. Because
that's the
even
way
Rogue
always
One,
wanted to see him
that's
do
what you
it.
want to see. Because
Yeah.
what we forgot to mention in Episode 5 was one of my favorite fight scenes of all Star Wars to this day. It is one of my favorites now. I'm telling you. Is when Vader fought Reva.
Okay.
He didn't even use a lightsaber.
Oh shit!
He was
yeah,
like
that's
boom,
right,
boom,
you're right.
boom, boom,
I
boom.
forgot.
He's like doing like fucking martial arts against it, right?
Yeah.
Using the force, like pow, pow, like bitch shit back.
Shit, I forgot.
Dude, that fight scene has got to be one of my favorite fight scenes, just because of that. Like he doesn't use the lightsaber to the end.
Never seen that before,
Never.
ever.
Because he's like boom, he blocks it with the force, pushes you away with the force, and then hits you with the force. It's like that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And why don't you see him more often, or is he just that powerful?
He's that powerful. But you could, I bet Yoda could do that.
I bet so too.
Qui-Gon probably could.
Maybe
Mace Windu could have.
I bet they just don't think of it.
Well, that's what it is. Because the Force is everywhere. Like, the Force is anything.
There's no reason you can't.
You can't do that. Because you're like, whoa, sorry, bitch. Pow!
Yeah.
He's like, pow, pow. You know, you're using the Force to
I forgot
fucking
about
guide.
that. That is a great scene.
That fight
was
scene
really
was
fucking cool.
bad as fuck.
I was like, shit, he's just using the Force because he didn't have a saber.
No, he had it. He had it on his belt.
Oh, did he? Okay.
He had it. But he took hers.
Because that's right, he did by the end of it.
By the end of it, he took hers. Because she, like, did the double thing and it starts spinning. He's like,
and he's like, fuck that.
I can stop this. It's like, who the fuck are you? Oh, shit, who am I? You know what I mean?
Snap.
Yeah, and then he snaps it. He's like, bitch, please. And I would stab you again. And I don't even need an uptick. Right?
I didn't before.
And I'm not going to do it now.
Fuck you.
In fact, I'll go down tick. Bam! You just don't have a vagina anymore. Ah! Fucking, but that fight scene was dope.
Yeah, that was. That's good that you brought that up because that was really great. Yeah, it was a great scene. But that last final battle between Obi-Wan and him.
Bad as fuck. I loved how they were using rocks to like they were like pow pow wow. So
But
you're
yeah.
like more than one danger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But then isn't that the same fight where he covers Obi-Wan and rocks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody's like fuck you.
Yeah. And why would the one thing that this is probably the only thing that I noticed because I was doing some editing work as I watched the series. But the only thing I noticed, I was like, Vader would have fucking heard all those rocks fly out of there. It would have been like an explosion. He wouldn't just been like fucking around, walking out of there.
He might have. You know what he might have thought though? He might have thought they collapsed.
Well,
Even farther.
okay, maybe. Like he gave up and then finally
he's like,
got
well,
crushed.
he's
that force
he's probably
got
spent.
crushed.
One, Vader's probably spent from. He's like, God damn, how many fucking rocks do I gotta throw at this motherfucker? And he's like, finally done. Wait till I tell the Emperor about this. He threw 2 things at Yoda. I threw a fucking 1,000 at Obi. Right?
Whole fucking mountain.
Whole mountain. Fuck you. So he's walking away. He's probably exhausted, just happy that it's over with. Like it's the one joy that came to his life in a long time. He's like, I did this. Yes, I did it right. I finally did it. I fucked him up. You see what he did to me? I'm in a suit. I'm fucked. I can't even fucking piss without taking a suit off. Right?
Yeah.
So, and then he's just like, da-da-da-da. He's like, hello there. What? The fuck? And he turns around, there's Obi-Wan. I wish he would have said, now granted in the show, he didn't go, hello there. I wish when he came back, I was like, say it. I was like, just say it, Obi. But wouldn't it be great to be like, hello there, Anakin. What have you become?
So like happy?
Yeah. Anakin's like, fucking shit.
That's why we need to remake it.
Yeah.
Or just commentate over it.
Mm-hmm. But that scene was badass.
Oh, shit.
And then they go at it some more. And then he slashes him because he's fucked up.
That's why
like that part. He's like bam, bam. He's bashing his lightsaber into his chest.
Yeah.
Like breaking all his shit. He's like, you want to breathe, bitch? You want to breathe? He's like, shit, fuck. Right. And then
the
fucking.
chest was a bad choice.
That was a bad choice. And he's like, fuck your face. Bam.
Not again.
He's like, not again. I just got this helmet. The Emperor gave me it for my 25th birthday.
That final battle is one reason why I don't want a second series.
I want to see it.
Because, what is he going to do?
I know exactly
what he's going to do. Because it's not going to be against Vader.
I know exactly what he's going to do, and hold that thought. Because at the end of when he cuts his face off, right, and he's talking to Anakin.
Yeah.
And he's like, Anakin, what happened to you? You were so great. You know, whatever the fuck he says. And he's like, Master. You think? And like the voice is cutting in and out.
Yeah, I like that.
And he's like, hey, you think that I was your greatest failure? He's like, you didn't kill Anakin. I killed Anakin. I was just like, oh my god, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. And you can see it. You can see it in Hayden's. You can only see half of Hayden's face.
Yeah.
And I swear it looked like pure hate in his face. Like, this guy is gone.
Yeah.
You know, Vader is taking over. There's no more Anakin. It's just Vader. And Obi-Wan saw that, and he's just like, oh, fuck. I gotta fucking make sure this kid kills you. Right? Because I can't do it. Because I have you at the fucking... I could kill you right now.
I just love you too much.
I just love you too much.
Fucking Qui-Gon.
I know.
God damn it.
Fucking. He even calls him like some fucking rubble in episode 1 or something. He's like, a pathetic life form, I think he says. Because Obi-Wan's like, I sense you have picked up another pathetic life form. After they already picked up Jar Jar. It's just like, oh god, what did he bring? What is this thing? It's Anakin. But, dude, I love that. The only problems I had with it were the ones I stated. Yeah. Other than that, like, it could have ended with him meeting Luke. What I didn't get also, the one thing I didn't get was he packed up his shit from his cave and left.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's he going?
To the new cave.
I'm like, why though? Like, well, maybe he thinks they might find him in the old cave. Like, fuck, I could get farther.
And what was that box in the old cave that he didn't take? He just left it there. It was like a big old battery or some shit.
What was that?
I don't even know what the fuck it was, but he left it there. His
remember.
old table.
I don't remember.
Left it.
I don't know, but we got Qui-Gon at the end. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, here we go.
Cool. That was cool.
Now, since you mentioned what can you do with season 2, I'm gonna tell you exactly what you can do with season 2.
I don't want to.
It was my anticipation of season 1. So season 2, you have
Obi-Wan. So he's back.
Obi-Wan just back watching here and there, visits the farm, gives Luke a lesson in life, just a lesson in the Force, right? Just a lesson. But
Uncle Obi,
he's like, oh, it's that crazy hermit. But in the old one, that's what he said. He's like, you think he means old Ben, old crazy hermit, right? Yeah. Like, fuck that guy, fucking. But you can have him doing that, and at the same time, he goes to work one day and sees a bunch of gangsters, part of Jabba the Hutt's crew, fucking with somebody, right? And he's like, I got to save them. It's like, you don't need to do this. I don't need to do this. They go back to, and Jabba's like, did you bring the money? They're like, no, we didn't need to do that. He's like, you were supposed to bring back so much money. And they're like, but some guy waved his hand and said we didn't need to. Jedi! Fuck! And then he presses a button, they all fall to the Rancor. Right? And then everyone cheers and they die. But you could have him, like, and then making deals. Making deals with the underworld, right? Because he's like, fuck, I've got to make a deal. Because Jabba's like, ha ha ha, Obi Wan Kenobi, the great Jedi. Because at one point they were capturing him, right? Yeah. And he's like, the great Jedi. Because he hires probably Kyrgyzstan. Probably hires Kyrgyzstan to capture Obi-Wan. Black Kyrgyzstan, big ass Wookiee from Mandalorian.
But I'm just saying, like,
and then he's like, ha ha ha.
If Darth Vader is so hell bent on killing him, why doesn't he show up again to fight him?
Because he gave up at that point. He's like,
he just gives up.
he doesn't come back. He doesn't need to. He goes, you know what, Emperor, you're right. I need to get over that part of my life. I need to get over it.
He'd be like, you gotta kill him. Or
did you watch at the end of Vader? I mean, Obi-Wan. At the end of Vader, I mean, Obi-Wan, fucking Vader's like, Palpatine's like, you need to forget about him. He's like, fuck.
You're right.
He thinks I'm on this vengeance. I gotta fuck. Yes, your master. I'm done with that guy. No need for that.
You're right.
Writing down the coordinates. Fucking. But so you don't need Vader to come back, right? But what you need,
they could have.
What you need is a villain, and the villain is Jabba the Hutt making fucking Obi-Wan do work for him, so he doesn't tell on him. But Obi-Wan does it in ways that are like not contradicting to the way of the Jedi, but still gets the job done, type shit. While doing that, he ruffles feathers with the Black Sun Syndicate, which is controlled by the former Dark Lord, Darth Maul. And then you could have him and Obi-Wan fight on Tatooine. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? You survived? Oh, fuck this guy. He's like, I've been looking for you a long time, Obi-Wan. He's like, stand in line. Apparently, you're not the only Sith Lord who has been. Right? There's your season 2. There's season 2. And I just talked 45 minutes about Obi-Wan. That was awesome.
It is really good. I don't have as much to say because I haven't analyzed it like Tom has. But it was a great series. I do highly recommend it. If you love Star Wars, you're going to love Obi-Wan.
And if you don't, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. Because honestly, and I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this guy for not liking Boba Fett. Fucking love that show.
Anyways, continue.
It was boring? He rode a fucking Rancor.
At the episode 6.
Anyways, this is Jordan the Sun. That should be like a fucking... Anyways, this was a Dust review.
Kind of. Tom talking about.
I let you talk. I feel.
No, I didn't have much to say because I couldn't remember. I haven't watched it 15 times like you have. But anyways, yeah.
I love Star Wars, bro.
It is good. You can love this series.
In fact, I love Star Wars so much, people, that I was watching the final of Obi-Wan and Vader, and I was like, you know what? I'm about to watch Revenge of the Sixth.
That's what he said. He sent me a text. I'm going to watch Revenge of the Sith.
And I did. Now, granted, I did fast forward. I was like, you know what? I just want to see.
Watch the end.
I want to see Order 66. So when Order 66 pops off, I watch that to the end because I'm telling you that. Now the whole movie's dope because it's action packed as fuck.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith is dope as fuck. But I wanted to see Obi-Wan fight Vader and Yoda fight Emperor because fucking love those fight scenes.
Yeah.
Love them.
Anyway.
That's how good Obi-Wan is. That's the show. Thanks for tuning in to Drunk of the Sun. This is Joe and Tom.
Thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody. Like and subscribe.
Thank you all for subscribing and liking. From Drunk on the Sun, the podcast about everything and anything under the sun. So check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Instagram. We're posting new shit every week. See ya.